Well, despite unemployment being at 14.1% among African Americans, a recent Rasmussen poll shows 95% of black voters support President Obama, while just 3% are backing Mitt Romney. Our next guest says it's time for people to vote with their minds instead of sticking to past loyalty to the Democratic Party.
Joining us is the author of Jumping the Aisle, How I Became a Black Republican in the Age of Obama, Dr. Oliver McGee. Good morning, Dr. McGee. How are you today?
Good morning, Peter, Tucker, and Allison.
How do we explain the numbers that we just heard? Almost record unemployment in the African-American community, but a tremendous loyalty in the African-American community to the Democratic Party and to President Obama.
There is a rich history in the African-American community for looking at issues of affirmative action and civil rights. When we look at Nixon, he asked Art Fletcher to draft the tenets of affirmative action for him, and he was the president of all the people. Johnson was also the president of all the people and asked Senator Durskin to draft the tenets of civil rights. And so that brought in a fold of loyalty for the African American community on those two tenets of policy. What we're looking at as we go into the age of Obama is an idea of economic rights. But unfortunately, we're still waiting for those rights to come. And so therefore, my book, Jumping the Aisle, is saying, hey, let's look at that a little bit more closely and start evaluating where are we looking at as we look at independence, economic choice, school choice, things that will help us be able to save and help the struggling economy.
So if I'm Mitt Romney and I'm running against the first black president in American history, but I want to win African American voters, what's my pitch? What do I say? What would work?
I think the Republican Party and Mitt Romney need to address how is the Republican platform shrinking the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. The haves have a stake in looking at liberty and efficiency, but they need to look a little bit further at community and equality and being able to address some of the issues of the have-nots, where the black community is looking for the Democratic Party to be able to address those have-not issues. But at the same time, they're looking to find out where are the haves on the left as well as on the right.
Has the Democratic Party or the White House, Dr. McGee, exploited racial differences or tensions in this country to their advantage in the African American community?
Some would say yes and some would say no. Clearly in 2008 there was an emotional stance in the country for hope and change and looking for a promise in the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama. But sometimes turning campaigning into governance can be rather tricky. You can get into murky waters. Oftentimes, many in the black community are looking to why did we reach so far for health care without looking at job creation? Most are saying that if you don't have a job, how can you buy health? And more importantly, if you don't have a job, that creates a lot of stress, and that erodes your health. So the challenge that the Obama administration is facing right now is jobs in the age of joblessness.
Yes.
Dr. McGee, a thoughtful book, and thank you for spending time with us today.
The book
Thank you very much,
Jumping the Aisle. Thanks a lot, Dr. McGee. Attention,
Thank
first